This city in Central Europe ranked higher than the likes of London, Paris and New York to be named the most beautiful city in the whole world. And with views like this, it's easy to see why. Of course, I'm in Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, which is not only a beautiful city full of amazing history, but it's also incredibly affordable for travellers. So join me as we explore the beer, the food, and the amazing sights of this beautiful city. Prague sits on the banks of the Vltava River, and when Time Out magazine crowned it as the most beautiful city in the world, they singled out the unparalleled charm of the Staré Mesto, its beautifully preserved old town which dates back to medieval times. An area so steeped in history that walking around its cobbled streets really feels like stepping back in time. You'll find shops and restaurants housed inside some beautiful old buildings, sitting right alongside some of the most iconic sites in the city. It's no wonder that this very district attracts over 8 million visitors every year. And to be honest, the only way to see the sights of the old town looking even more magical than normal is at Christmas time. We just so happened to arrive in time to see the decorations and lights going up for the festive season, and it really was something special, especially when the sun goes down. But beauty comes in many forms, and Prague offers so much more than just historic buildings and twinkly lights. It also has some really lovely nature just within a couple of miles of the old town, a quieter side of the city that we had already experienced just a few years before. Oh yeah. This is actually our second visit to Prague. We first came here in 2017. And there's something really nice about coming back to a place that you really enjoyed the first time, because in a lot of ways, the pressure's off. Because on your first visit, you do all of the main sites, the big tourist attractions. And when you come back, you get more freedom. You get to do some more of those hidden gems and those second tier sites. So it feels good to be back. And it also gives you the chance to revisit some old spots that you just really enjoyed the first time, which is why we made the climb back up to Letna Park, a beautiful green space sitting right on a hilltop with some stunning views down onto the city below. It's a popular spot for local joggers and dog walkers, but this park also has some much more unusual features that are quintessentially Czech. So this is actually one of my favourite spots from when we came to Prague the first time. We're up in Letna Park. And one of the cool things about Prague is that they love beer so much that they actually have these public outdoor beer gardens that anybody can come and use. There's a kiosk over there, there's a bar over there, and you can buy beer, sit here and enjoy these amazing views of the city and the river. Obviously, it is the winter right now, so it's completely empty. Not many people want to sit in the freezing cold drinking beer, but you can just imagine in the summertime, this is just full of people, like an outdoor beer hall. I just think it's such a cool thing. So, as you've probably guessed, Prague's beauty isn't just in its buildings and views. This is also a city that knows how to relax and have a good time. And you can't walk too far around the streets of Prague without seeing a sign for their beloved Pilsner. The Czech Republic drinks more beer per capita than any other country on the planet, and that's with a population of only 10 million people. And one of my favourite facts about Prague is that a pint of local beer is normally cheaper to buy than a bottle of water. So, as you can imagine, there are countless places to stop, relax and get rehydrated. In view of the Old Town Square, you can expect to pay around £3 or £4 for a large beer, which is definitely a tourist price. But heading only a little further out, down one of the cobbled side streets, you can very easily half that price and more, without losing any charm in terms of venues. And it's not just the liquid gold that's affordable here either. Czech wine is also really good, and you can pair your drink with some tasty Czech food to make a proper winter warmer. A 2-course meal for 2 people with drinks around the old town can still only cost you around £25 in total. It's all about heading to the right places. I can personally recommend a spot called U Parlamentu, which serves up quick, no-nonsense comfort food in cosy surroundings, and it's only a 5-minute walk from the main square, so it's a no-brainer. And of course, at Christmas time, there are loads of different street food stalls in the old town square, serving everything from Hungarian langos, which is a deep fried flatbread, to delicious fresh roasted Prague ham, and of course, the iconic chimney cakes, which you can smell all around the streets of the old town. But the affordability here stretches far beyond just the food and drink. You can also enjoy some luxury living for a fraction of the price of other European cities. So I thought it would be interesting to compare two very different accommodation budgets to see exactly what Prague has to offer at both ends of the scale. Starting with somewhere a little bit fancy. Welcome to the Hotel Klarov, where we're spending the next 2 nights. It's a 4-star hotel in a beautiful old building. It's got so much character. And the hotel itself just feels really, really classic in the communal areas, but the rooms themselves are actually quite new and modern with some, let's just call it, pretty interesting theming, but we'll get onto that in a minute. The hotel is on the opposite side of the river to the historic old town, but it's only about a 5-minute walk down to the famous Charles Bridge and the waterfront, so it's still a really good location. And it's actually the same side of the river where you can find Prague Castle. And if you just step out of the front of the hotel, you get a view of the castle straight away. And I think if you've got a room on that side, you'll probably get views of the castle from your room as well, which would be a really nice touch. So without any further ado, let's give you a tour around our hotel room, and then afterwards we'll talk some prices. And here we are. Now this is one of the junior suites, so there are actually 3 rooms in total, so there's plenty of space for the 2 of us. So you walk through the door and straight into this lovely living area. On the right hand side there's a space to hang your coats and put your bags. And then over on the left hand side you've got this funky shelving unit, and you've got a coffee machine and a little mini bar as well. And now this is where the theming comes in. When I first started researching this hotel from home, I noticed that they named every room after a famous musician. And our room is the Robbie Williams suite. And look, here he is down there. What a guy. And actually, above the sofa and the table here, you've got these sort of printed letters that gives you sort of a biography of Robbie Williams. It kind of looks like a printout of his Wikipedia page, but you can learn all about Robbie on that wall. And on the other side, you've got this really cool desk, which is made to look like a piano. And now through this doorway on the left-hand side is the bedroom, which is also a really, really nice size. It's got a lovely big bed. It's got a TV opposite and these beautiful big windows that looks out onto what I believe is a government building now, but it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the architecture in Prague is beautiful everywhere, but you know, it's lovely to see that when you're lying in bed with your coffee in the morning. And of course, the bedroom has an ensuite bathroom, and it's pretty simple. You've got a sink, mirror. On the other side, there's a bath and shower. And of course, right at the end, you've got the toilet. So that's our room. And now, I guess we should talk about prices. As I said before, this room is a junior suite, so to stay here for the night, it's going to cost you up to £140 per night, which, you know, is quite a lot of money. But there is some very nice superior rooms in this same hotel where you can stay for about £45 per night. So there's a nice big price range there. And all of the rates do include a breakfast, and there's a nice continental selection as well as some hot food as well. In a couple of days' time, we are moving into an Airbnb, which is right in the heart of the old town. So I'm going to be comparing the prices a bit later on in the video, but I think you might be surprised at some of the amazing value you can get right in the centre of the city. And why wait? Prague has plenty of options for the more budget-conscious traveller. So let's get over to our next accommodation choice, back in the centre of it all. We have now moved accommodation into this lovely Airbnb apartment. It's just a studio, but it's actually very, very spacious. And when it comes to location, it doesn't get much better than this. We are basically on the corner of the old town square, right in the heart of the city. So all of the cafes, restaurants, and of course, some of the most famous sites that you can see in Prague are literally a stone's throw away. It really doesn't get much better than this location. The building itself is another very nice, very old place with lots of character. But despite being right in the centre of a capital city, it's actually really quiet here. We both slept very well last night, and really you're getting the best of both worlds. You've got the convenience of being right in the middle of the old town, but then you can also come back up to the apartment and it's nice and quiet and you get a great night's sleep. So you walk in here through the front door, and straight ahead is a little sofa that can be turned into another bed if you need it. On the left there's a wardrobe and somewhere to hang your coats. And on the right is the bed, which is actually 2 single beds, but like I said before, it's very comfortable. We slept really well last night. And then opposite there is the bathroom. It's got a mirror and a sink here. Then to the left there's a toilet. And next to that is a really good shower with a rain head as well, so that's quite nice. So if we just come back through into the main apartment again, you'll see that there's a nice big TV opposite the bed, and it actually has Netflix on there as well, which is good. And then on the next left is the little kitchen, which has everything you need. It's got actually the same coffee machine that we had in the last hotel. You've got a hob, you've got a microwave, a fridge, and then there's a little table back here as well if you do want to eat meals here. But to be honest, the food is so affordable here. I don't know why you'd want to self-cater, but if you do want to, you've got everything you need. And finally, the last thing to show you in this apartment is probably the nicest thing about it, and that's the balcony. So let's get out there and take a look. Well, how nice is this? You just imagine sitting here with your coffee on a sunny morning, looking out over this peaceful courtyard. And as you can see just up there, there's a spire from one of the churches in the old town. So that's the location for you. So back in the warm now, let's talk about prices. As I mentioned before, this place was booked on Airbnb and we paid £65 per night, which I think is a pretty decent price for such an amazing location, and you're going to save a bit of money in the convenience of just being able to walk to a lot of the most popular sites in Prague. So we're now going to go and check out the Dox Modern Art Museum, which is only about a 15-minute tram ride from here. But instead of taking a traditional tram, we've decided we're going to try a slightly newer form of transport in the city that looks like a lot of fun. Almost as soon as we arrived in Prague, we noticed these green electric scooters parked all over the streets, operated by a company called Bolt. You download the app and use the map feature to hunt down your closest set of wheels. You then make sure you've connected your credit or debit card, and then you scan a scooter with your phone, which unlocks it automatically. And then you're good to go. The scooters were a fun idea, but the combination of Prague's cobbled streets and unclear road rules meant that we actually gave up halfway through our journey.
The most successful scooter ride ever.
And we ended up taking a classic tram instead. To be fair, the trams of Prague are a brilliant way to get around the city. They're not only affordable, but they're also a great alternative way to see some of the sights as you sit in comfort. We took a relaxing ride out to Prague 7, often referred to as the city's art district, which is of course home to the Dox Museum, which is a huge art space set over several floors. And it's actually pretty easy to spot, thanks to the huge blimp structure sitting right on the rooftop. A nice example of some of the more unusual modern architecture in the city. The Gulliver airship was designed as a cultural performance space which is used at certain times of year, stretching between the 2 main buildings of the gallery, which is where you'll find all of the main exhibitions, making for a nice change of pace from the historic sites of the city centre. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I really think that Prague is a city that has something to offer for just about everyone. Whether you're into history, the arts, or you just like a good drink, Prague is the place for you. And you can enjoy it all on a pretty reasonable budget.